This little box is supposed to be a money-making machine. It earns cryptocurrency and uses about the same amount of power as a little brick that you use to charge your phone. So what is this? This little box is mainly a radio transmitter, and when you have it in operation, you get rewarded for helping to create a new type of internet connection. Some people have been making hundreds of dollars a month with one of these, and when my friend who has experience with crypto mining says that he was getting one, I wanted to get one too to try out. But the problem was that these things are so popular, you could order one now and wait months before you could get it. But I found a company with a new product in stock, took a risk, and I paid $1,000 for this box. I know, I'm crazy. I'm going to explain how you earn cryptocurrency with this, how it's unique compared to other cryptos you may have heard about, and then I'll show you how I'm gonna set this up and we'll see how it goes. So devices like this one that I got mine cryptocurrency called Helium, or HNT for short. This is the helium.com website, and you can see that they say this is a new kind of miner. And check out this claim: installing a simple device in your window, that's it, seriously. Now I like efficiency, which is also part of why I put solar panels on my roof, so I hope that's true with this device. You can also see their other claim that mining for this cryptocurrency uses a low amount of power. If you've heard of Bitcoin mining, for example, some of those miners use thousands of watts of power and they can cost well over $10,000 each. So this type of thing is very different. Another big difference is that these devices help solve an actual problem. You've heard of Wi-Fi and 5G, but these use LoRaWAN. This stands for Long Range Wide Area Network. This low power wide area network signal can go for miles, up to 10 miles when you have line of sight. And what this is used for are things that fall under the category of the Internet of Things. So some companies are making smart devices like smart mouse traps that alert you when a mouse is caught, or a scooter company can locate where their scooter is in a city, or where there's a water leak detector somewhere. There's a lot of cool applications, and each of those smart devices only needs a small battery that can last many years, again because that uses such a low power signal. And these devices are then connected to the current internet. Now if you go on the Helium website, you can see they have got these deployed all over the world, and you can zoom in and see how many miners are operating in a particular zone, and you can even get some data on them. Now this miner I got costs more than others, in part because it can do something unique. You can actually buy additional hardware and plug into this thing and turn it into a 5G cellular hotspot. So I could go get my own SIM cards, put them in my phone, and basically run my own little cell phone tower. So how does this radio earn cryptocurrency? Again, it's very different from other cryptos like Bitcoin that you may have heard about. This miner uses an algorithm called proof of coverage to earn the cryptocurrency, while Bitcoin, for example, uses something called proof of work. That basically means it has to solve a complex math problem. On the helium.com website, you can see there are 3 ways to earn HNT. Now, the first way is through proof of coverage. Basically, you get rewarded for proving your device is operating and is able to provide this network coverage. Secondly, you can earn as a witness. If your hotspot helps figure out what other devices are out there and operating, you can get rewarded. They send out a challenge signal and then listen back. And the third way, may be the easiest to understand, is that you get rewarded when data passes through your device, like it's being used for its purpose, so those smart devices or 5G devices are connecting through it. And when you earn HNT, it goes into your digital wallet, and just like other cryptocurrency, you can trade it for US dollars. And since it's a market, the value goes up and down. So I'm really pumped to get this thing set up and start earning some HNT. But before I turn this on, I want to let you know about another type of investment that I recently learned about. And that's investing in well-known artwork through Masterworks, today's sponsor. What's cool about them is that they buy famous artwork and ordinary people can buy shares of it. Now, it might sound a bit odd, but think about it. Crypto is fairly new, but artwork has been around for thousands of years, and there's a ton of historical data. In fact, according to Masterworks research, contemporary art has outpaced S&P 500 over a 25-year period by 164%. And compared to precious metals like gold, a Citibank report says art has outperformed commodities in absolute and risk-adjusted terms, perhaps because of its defining uniqueness. So how it works is that you can earn a return when the artwork sells, or you can sell your shares on their secondary market. Masterworks is valued at over $1 billion and is one of the largest art buyers in the world. So if you'd like to invest in fine art like popular artists like Banksy and diversify your portfolio, click on the link below and you'll be able to skip the wait list and check out what they have to offer. So one of the things that helps you earn more is if your transmitter is able to reach more hotspots. So I want to mount this thing up high and outside. So here's some of the things that I got. This waterproof box is going to sit inside of here, and I've already kind of tried to figure out where the mounting plate is going to go. That mounting plate did come with the miner, and this miner itself is made by Freedom Phi, just in case you're wondering. That's the company that makes this, and it came with a power adapter, but I'm actually not going to use the power adapter because I'm going to have this mounted out in my backyard. I bought 100 feet of Ethernet cable, and I'm going to use something called Power over Ethernet. So I got this Power over Ethernet. It's called a PoE injector, and so there are 4 pairs of wires on an Ethernet cable, and it uses 2 of those pairs to transmit, just send the DC power signal. And then I have a splitter, which will go on the other end, and that'll sit inside this box. And so the reason for that is that when this is mounted in the backyard, all I have to do is run the Ethernet cable up to this box to run the cable into here and try to keep this watertight. I also have this cable gland right here, and this is left over from my solar project. And so I'll just reuse this. And this space is a little bit too big for the Ethernet cable, so I have this foam that I'm going to cut and try to make that as watertight as possible. But before I put it in here and figure out all the wiring, I first want to hook this up to make sure that it works. I'm glad that Freedom Phi has this step-by-step manual with photos because I was a little nervous this was going to be a steep learning curve. So I'm on step 3. I want to make sure this Power over Ethernet over this 100-foot cable and the splitter actually works. So I'll just plug this in and we'll test it out. This cable that I got is direct burial cable, so it's like really thick and a little unwieldy to work with. So if you can see there on the multimeter, it's 11.45 volts. Good enough for me. It's about 12 volts. So we can plug it into the miner here. Now I need to plug in the Ethernet. Is it not working? All right, so a problem just happened. Hear that? Hear this? The power cord just broke off. I just plugged it in and it already broke off. So not a good way to start this thing. So let's see if we can get this off and try to fix it. You'd see here that the pin just broke off because, see that positive pin is not in there. Because this is the recommended PoE splitter, but the diameter here is too small and it just pushed the pin out the back, and then it broke off as I tried to put it in there. And I just tried to put it in very gently, but there's just really no way for that pin to fit inside of this diameter here. So I think Freedom Phi needs to recommend a different kind of PoE splitter. Well, I didn't intend to open this up because this broke down here. We get to look inside. We do have a RAM chip here, the main printed circuit board. This looks like it's the radio to run this antenna. And to me, this looks like another type of radio board, but I don't really know what it is. Okay, so we're back to step 3. I got the pin pinched back on here, so it's making an electrical connection with the board, and I'm not going to use the PoE splitter. I'm going to use the stock power supply. I made sure that the stock plug is fitting in here snug, and I pinched it all together, so it should have an electrical connection, and we can move on to step number 4. So I need to plug in the internet here, and then I will plug in the power supply, and this thing should light up. There it goes. On the Helium app, I'm going to choose Add a Hotspot, enter serial number. This says make sure it's connected to the internet. Well, I already did that. 15 minutes. Press and release the power button once. Waiting for your device to authenticate. Hey, succeeded. Okay, so the whole onboarding process here took about 30 minutes to download new firmware, authenticate it, and get it synced up with the blockchain. And so it is good to go right now. And this radio guy here is doing his thing, try to talk to all the neighbors and mine cryptocurrency. Although I don't think it's going to do very much here sitting in the middle of my office. So I do need to plan to move this to a better location. The miner has a dashboard that you can access on your local network. And you can see I've got all thumbs up here, green lights. And at the top here, you have a radio dashboard. And what that is when you can connect the 5G cellular devices, you can see data connected to that. But obviously I don't have that. But if I did want to get one, which is kind of tempting to be my own cell phone provider, you can see they sell an indoor one for $1,500 and an outdoor one for $2,500. My understanding is that the indoor one has a much smaller range than the outdoor one, which is about a 2-mile range. Now, mostly businesses are going to be buying these, but you could also buy one to use personally. So it's the next day, and I moved my miner a little closer to the window, but so far I haven't earned anything. I know I need to move it in a better spot, but I'm kind of waiting for Freedom Fi to get back to me on what I should do with this thing. Should I permanently repair it? Or are they going to replace it? I don't know, but I'll report the progress on Instagram, so make sure that you follow me there, and also for any other behind the scenes stuff. So I've got this thing hooked up now, but what do I expect for the future? Well, honestly, my hopes are down a bit because a number of factors have changed since I first got this miner. Now at the time, there was a risk and I didn't think it was that big, but in life you got to take new risks and try things, right? So what changed since I took this risk? Well, one is that the value of the Helium, the HNT, went down. It dropped from its height of $52 a few months ago down to $8, which is what it is as I'm recording this. Secondly, Helium made some algorithm changes that went into effect just a few weeks ago. You know, I'm still new at this, but it seems like it may have impacted things. Anyway, we'll have to see how that plays out. And thirdly, since I ordered my hotspot, I noticed 2 more hotspots went online in the zone near me, and I live in a residential neighborhood, so that's going to impact my potential earnings because miners are too close together. So what can I do? Well, I'm not giving up yet. It hasn't even been 24 hours, but if things don't look good, you know, a little bit down the road, there's a few things that I can do. Well, one, I can move my miner to a better spot or even to another location, like my parents' house, for example. They live right next to a big office park, and that could do really well. Or I could get a more powerful antenna and connect it in. Or I could just resell the whole thing, take the loss, and say it was a lesson learned. But regardless of how this investment ends up for me, I think it's really cool, this idea of the low power network and all the device possibilities that are out there. You know, think of things like when the air in your tires are low, you get an alert on your phone, or you have a sensor that you put in your ground so that it tells you that your soil needs more nitrogen, or when the milk carton is low, it'll send you an alert so you can go to the store and get new milk. I don't know, the possibilities are endless. So stay tuned, maybe I'll be fixing this thing in a future video or have other updates, but I'll definitely have more detail on my Instagram, so don't miss out there.